questions when we finish. But briefly, what I want to do is just talk a little bit about our relationship with the National Football League and the Navy SEALs. My name is Fred Willis, the President and CEO of HPN Neurologic, and I'm not sure why an ex-football player is speaking to the Roskamp Institute, but I'm honored to be here. Just quickly, I'm going to tell you what my background, or how I get into this. I played 9 years in the National Football League, and but really about 4 years ago I became very ill, and I came down with end-stage liver disease. I was diagnosed and put on a transplant list. So, fortunate enough that my care was at Leahy Clinic in Burlington, Massachusetts. They are just the greatest liver team that are on the state of the planet. But anyway, while I was sick, one of the major symptoms of end-stage liver disease is encephalopathy, and it's called hepatic encephalopathy. But the symptoms are the same as I noted after experiencing this for 3 years. The symptoms are the same as what my NFL brothers were going through in the end when they committed suicide. We've had over 20 retired NFL players that have committed suicide with end-stage CTE, and there are thousands of them that have this progressive disease. So, and liver patients actually, one of the primary causes of suicide while they're waiting on a transplant is encephalopathy. Hepatic encephalopathy, what happens is when your liver shuts down, ammonia starts rushing to your brain. And there's only one way to, it's amazing, but there's only one way to get the ammonia out of your brain. So they give you a laxative called lactulose. And but you basically, I couldn't leave my home because, I was in the bathroom all day long, and it's really the only way to get it out. So a lot of liver patients commit suicide. They just want to go through it while they're waiting. So that during that period of time, the issue of the NFL and traumatic brain injury has only come to the forefront really in the last 3 years, and there's a reason for that. And I also very much relate to what's going on with the military. So the long and the short of it is concussions. The major issue with concussions in the history of concussions, you can directly point to the National Football League and the military. And the people that ran it, the military, the government, and the NFL, denied this for 4 years until they just finally couldn't deny it. So we have seen some changes with the military here recently. We're very excited about the study we're doing with the SEALs. And I'm really the only driving force out there that is really attacking the symptom issue with retired NFL players. And the reason I do that, we're just a private company, and we're not affiliated with the NFL. I never wanted to be if I took this on. And I have the ability, unlike anyone else really, to reach out to NFL players. NFL players typically are very skeptical people. There's a lot of people always approaching them to try to tell them, either get to know them, or tell them they can get them a deal, or oh, if you've got concussion issues and CTI, I have a way to cure you. But with me, there's a very personal relationship, and they trust us. So I'm probably the only person on the planet that can really talk them into the trial studies that we're doing. We've been extremely successful with this. Within the next 30 to 60 days, we'll have several trial studies running in different cities across the country. So basically what I do is I go into these different cities, I reach out to all the players, and we try to find the ones, or hunt down the ones that are suffering from CTE. I can tell you this, every guy I talk to, they don't know what's going to happen. Of the 20,000 guys that play in the National Football League, all of them live with this fear that they don't know what's going to happen to them. So, what we try to do, because we're so limited, is try to see if we can help guys that are severely at risk, try to stop them from the progression to, in the end, where they commit suicide. I have spoken with families of players that committed suicide, and it's almost like in the end, because we are very interested in what the behavior was like for the last couple of years before they killed themselves. And what I'm finding, and I'm not a medical person, but I know this just from my personal experience, what I'm finding is it is a behavior issue with my NFL brothers. A lot of the families that I've talked with, these guys were well off, obviously very popular. They had the image of an NFL athlete. They were successful, they were bright, they had great lives, and all of a sudden their lives just automatically changed. So in most cases, their lives didn't change that we could relate to an alcoholic or a drug addict, where they just, those particular things drive them to the end. In the case of NFL players, they didn't know why. They were getting sick. They didn't know why. So their behavior continually, progressively changed. In most cases, almost every case of a player that committed suicide, they were separated from their families in the end, broke, and either addicted to drugs or alcohol. And in speaking with them and former players that knew them closely, and I can tell you one quick story. It was like the family said in the end, it was a relief. Anyway, excuse me. So we've done that. We're at this stage where we're really making some progress with this. And we think we can really affect this behavior and move forward. And, you know, we hope to be doing these studies in a lot of cities around the country, reaching out to these players. You know, we're really gaining momentum. It's a groundswell among the players now. I mean, I get players going all over the country.